Hello, everybody. Daniel from Venza here for another reaction video. I'm here from my self-quarantine location in The Hague, in the Netherlands. Joining me from their safe distance, we've got Alan and Evelyn. Why don't you two introduce yourselves? Alan, why don't you go first?
Thanks, Daniel. It's Alan O'Riordan. I'm co-founder of Apaleo, a Munich-based PMS provider. We, through our API first philosophy, for those who are familiar with that approach, are the world's most open and integratable PMS, primarily for groups and chains. And I've been with Apaleo for 2 years now, a Munich-based company, but I'm in London, the UK.
Good to have you. Nice to see you, pal, as always. Evelyn?
Thanks, Daniel. I'm Evelyne Oreskovich, and I'm president of Her Consulting, Hospitality eResources. And we focus on project management, system selection for reservation and channel management, as well as management training.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for being here and volunteering to be victims. I mean, volunteers of the reaction video. So I don't know if you've seen this article. It's popped up a couple of times, and then I thought maybe we should talk about this. So I'm going to share my screen. Alan, neither Alan nor Evelyn have seen this, or at least maybe they have. Not to my knowledge, but we will find out their reaction here. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Yes.
So I don't know if you saw this article. This is from CNN Travel, and it's about this young man and his life and his Eurail trip, and he made his way all the way to the north of Africa and a tour many years ago, and he was completely, utterly unprepared, according to the article. And he just kind of talks about how he really went on a lark, and it was there's kind of a romance about it with him going to this on this trip totally unprepared, and the people that he met, and it was life-changing, and a story, I guess, that he harkens back to and references as something he did that was wild in his youth. So to me, that's really the charm. It kind of spoke to me because when I was 19, I backpacked through Europe, going from hostel to hostel. I had that experience and loved it, and I think it was incredibly impactful from my life. I think it marked me, and it really made an impression. My question is, do you think that that when we have a crisis like COVID-19, do you think that there will be this kind of adventurous travel? Does it become is it something that people are going to decide not to do? Will COVID-19 have an impact on that adventurous spirit, especially among young travelers? What do you think? Alan's already shaking his head.
I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not. I would think quite the opposite, actually. I think people will be more determined to seek out unique experiences off the back of this, and perhaps arguably they might also seek to avoid some of the busier, sort of more crazy tourist spots. The kind of the new consciousness might be to have a slightly more unique experience away from the crowds. And I think
that was already happening a little bit, right? That was, people like, oh, don't go here, don't go to Amsterdam. Instead, go to Haarlem, and thinking in terms of the Netherlands, go to, something other than the if you're going to the US, don't just go to New York, check out other places, type of thing, right? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, I am saying that. And I think that, this lockdown, for all that is, bad about the lockdown, both economically and socially and from a mental health perspective and everything else, I think that there's an awful lot of good to be had from it as well. And I think you kind of realize what you miss and what you don't miss. And really what we all miss are meaningful social contacts right now, right? And I think when you go and travel with that sort of adventurous spirit, you do tend to have a more meaningful experience than if you go and stay in a all-inclusive resort experience, for example, of which, of course, there's nothing wrong with that, but perhaps people will seek out that sort of more meaningful and that more meaningful social contact and that experience as a result. I would certainly hope so, and it would be my plan to do that as well.
Yeah. So that getting off the beaten track, especially in a world that has experienced a pandemic, even more of an adrenaline rush because you don't know what you're going to encounter, type of thing. Evelyn, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, I completely agree with Alan. I think that in the short term, we're not going to see that happening. But, young people like this, I was young, I did the whole URL thing as well after college. And I know they still feel invincible, right? I mean, look at what happened with the spring breakers and everything else. Young people are going to go. The young people are going to be a lot more engaged in doing this type of adventure travel. Older people, like Alan mentioned, they don't want to go to the same old tourist spots, and they want to look at something new and something more authentic. And so I think in the short term, we're going to see a little bit of curtailing of that kind of adventurous activity. But in the long run, it's all going to come back. People forgot 9/11 in a certain way in terms of the travel restrictions, and you just got used to being, mugged at the TSA counter when you're going through the airport.
Shoes for why again?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just accept it and you go and you say, well, this is a risk that we take when we travel. So no, I don't think it's going to. I think, like I said, the short term, yes, we're going to probably see a curtailment, but in the long run, people are people. They want to go, they want to experience, and they're going to want to go to the most offbeat places and have those experiences.
Yeah. Good. Well, I agree. I think there's my hope, given to our role in hospitality, is that there will be some pent up demand and people will be like, okay, I want to see the world after all, so let's get going and check it out. So great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your feedback and your reaction. I'm so glad that you both are safe and healthy and in home and just genuinely looking forward to seeing you at the next event whenever that might be.
That will be nice, won't it? When we actually all get to meet each other in person again.
Yeah.
Very great. Well, thank you so much. Have a super day, and for all of you out there watching, thanks for watching another reaction video from Venza.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.